Well, first of all, I enjoyed it. It was a good mixture of intelligence and heart. You see, it was well structured. He had some really powerful messages to give, messages that make a great deal of rational, compelling sense about leadership. But he combined it with his heart, and that's the other part. And it's when he spoke from his heart that it triggered my questions, my reflections, my thoughts, and my easy reconnection back to my own life and the journey I take, the journey I've had and the journey that I'm envisaging for myself. And I like it because combining his own life with really well-formed, cogent argument, compelling combination.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, what I loved about his presentation was the journey that he took us on as he went through the different elements. And what was nice was there was a playfulness and then a gently taking it down into the deeper, more significant, meaningful things, and then bringing it back up light again. And I think this topic of transformation can get really heavy, and it can get to D&M, so that can lose people. So if we're constantly moving it to the personal, the practical, yes, some deep and meaningful, but then back into the applied. And for me, that was fantastic. And I think the questions that he gave at the end of every segment was that lovely, now, how can you take this and use it? I loved what he was talking about, the words. I love words, and I believe words carry much, much more than we understand. So, and the fact that everything that moves through an organisation, it moves on words. It either moves on words or images. And so the conversation that he was raising about the power of words and the magic of words, and then the shadow aspects of words as well, so I found that particularly, that touched me.
Well, I've got to say it was one of the most inspiring presentations I've ever listened to. He's a great storyteller, and I love the way that he was able to relate the story of magicians and the process of change through his own personal story, but it was very real and very practical, and I've got about 10 pages of notes.
Yeah, what are the key things that you'll take away from that?
I think he took something that was quite simple in terms of quite complex, but made it quite simple in terms of the structure, and it was really, really illuminating. Yeah, very simple.
Yeah, but it was pretty amazing. I think the analogy between magician and the business, and in terms of leadership and the magician, is quite potent. Really powerful, just seeing how you can actually translate what the magician is doing into the business world. That was just fascinating.